Yes.
Okay. Washita1868. A battle or a massacre? Single-digit killings. The mass graves where communal conversations happen, marrow deep with the dead. And none can object, and none can dissent, because the last darkness was sanguine favor mixed with black ash as the quicklime smears, sears eyes and soft tissue. It was remarked, as if upon the wind, that perhaps the peace long hair sought at Washita was the R.I. peace. Total annihilation, intent of a genocide, the language telling a lie as to how many manufactured undead became the body count, as the genocidal intent became the cleansing of all men of specific color. Yea, better than saying race so as not to be erased. Intent, often hidden in plain view.
Custer, knowing that the Cheyenne would protect their women and children, proudly wrote of his intent for genocide as he captured 50 women and children before descending upon the camps of the people. Choosing winter in the cold and hungry, lean, intentionally marching forward with human body shields made of the flesh of Cheyenne innocents, penning in his memoirs, they were held in hopes of peaceful negotiations. Peace was never on his agenda, no peaceful intent. Yea, the casualties of battle, the non-combatants spared. Yea, spared, let's look at that word. Well, we can use part of that syllable, encounter, to describe the truth.
Of the Cheyenne women allowed to freely mingle as they became the objects, flesh being raped for the negotiated price of life and sustenance. Yea, we have seen this before. Do not call your cowardice a battle when the 50 women and children hostages in your midst are the soft shield you use to hide your weakness, as human flesh for the being's part would equate with peace is not yours. You have no honor, and you pass around your perversion of democracy as if it was a party favor, like we should be grateful for the scraps you have made of our Turtle Island. When we walk into the sun and see those whom have passed us by, those whom have found themselves dusted in death and quicklime, yea, the genocidal intent, what would you call the rape of women at Washita, Cheyenne? A culture not yours, a life path not yours, and yet in your disgrace of heroes who have women brought to him each night, or so it is said, until his wife should arrive, receive the honors, as if walking among legends. Yea, myth and rot talk it is, as the motion in the darkness become the dead unresolved, the overweight of marrow, bones, and the sorrows born therein of women and children who were the hundredweight of overwhelming odds, long hair, battled at Washita. Yea, we do not forget anything. The dreams continue, the ghosting ones yet fall, and we, their blood, hear them and try to calm them as they crawl across our shared stretch of womb-birthed holocaustal skin, born for a journey, a raw lifetime you will never understand. As we remember with cedar plumes and the sage, the fallen who yet call out our names in the black of a night when we see by the plasma glow of our grandmother moonlight all our relations with us upon the night highway, a night of songs and sacred stones as we recall our dear ones who fell in many communal graves as they did at Washita. Yea, then speak of intent. Was it not enough to murder 103?
Would it not end there? No. 51 lodges burnt to the ground. Fires with the stench of burnt flesh, winter clothes, necessities for the survival of the people. In the silt and ash touching the dark of that night, sacred objects curled to cinder in the flames, food supplies, weapons. Intent was not to wage a battle for peace, but a massacre for genocide. If this was not enough, 875 horses shot, killed, dead. Intentions to steal any chance for survival. No, peaceful intent would not lead a woman to stab her own child, then turn the knife on herself, not wanting her son butchered by Custer and his army, whose intent they say was peaceful. The legacy of genocide at Washita, as we walk in black ash in the embrace of the wind limbs of our relations, the people unseen.
The dead stars dims, shining deep upon the grades of our epidermal skins, the ones we share with all red earth, the ones we wear without shame, the ones stretched across the remembered agonies of our nations. The sun, no brightness to our eyes, Grandmother Moon sheltering us within the shadow of her smiles as we watch in pantomime, one we wish we could deny, but our eyes are torn open, and we watch as she stabs her child and plunges the knife through her own misery, flesh and breast, as we cry out in drowning sorrow, why? Still, we know this answer well, for the greater good of someone else's manifest destiny. As we walk beside her soft and slow, she sings to us of the day and all that the Washichus thought they could take from us. And she reminds us with a sanguine mix of saline painting her face. She implores us even with her fate. She tells us her descended children do not hate. And we must cry bloodstone tears falling hard upon that sour, overworked earth, because we cannot deny her her fervent wish. And the wind song sounds as we walk into the light of another journey and another night of heartache, and light prayers for all, so that the truth will bear its own witness, as we recall in silence and thought made psalm all of the genocidal dead in communal graves across all 50 states as they did in Washita, and try to understand this grandmother's last request, that we should not hate, as we walk strong for the weak and for those who have turned their eyes into black pools of homemade fear, fire, light, and flame, between the steel-eyed story stones of sacredness, neath the lean wings of ravens and old crows, as we walk as our ancestors to the spirit lands, root of hearth and home, as one with red earth upon the ghost road.